Good afternoon, everyone. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4 says, "In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God." Now, the God of this world is another nickname for Satan. This nickname does not seem as intimidating as Satan, devil, Beelzebub, roaring lion looking for someone to devour, or the serpent. I mean, if you read this in the Bible, you notice the G in God of this world is not even capitalized. However, there are enormous connotations to the nickname. The God of this world tells us where Satan's power lie. Now, this does not mean God has no power in the world because God is infinitely superior to Satan. Rather, the name is a reminder to us where Satan's influence resides. The world is Satan's battlefield and playpen. It is his mission in life to keep as many people away from God as possible. Now, if God, big G, is everywhere, how can Satan hope to keep people away from God? The answer is to spiritually blind the people. Satan does not need to rely on sin to spiritually blind the people. The better method for blindness is ignorance. Therefore, Paul points to the fact that unbelievers are in bigger danger for this method of attack. Satan knows his best opportunity to make sure a soul is lost is to strive to keep the soul away from God, if possible. It is like being in a pitch dark room. There is a fear to move because we do not want to blindly run into anything. There was once when I was new in ministry in New Mexico, I would come into the church building through the side door of the auditorium. But the problem was that the light switch for the auditorium was on the completely other side of the room. And so when I went into this door and shut the door behind me, it was pitch black in this room. And so I start walking across this pitch dark room. I turn a little bit too far to the right. I bang my shins and knee onto a wooden pew. I turn and try to correct, go straight, and I fade a little bit to the left. I run into the arm rail for going up to the stage. I tried to correct again. I run into the communion table. I tried to correct again. Somehow I found my way in between or in the aisle in between the pews, and I run my knees into some more wooden pews. I tried to correct. I hit the other arm rail. I tried to correct. I run nose first into a solid wooden pillar that's on the other side of the auditorium. Finally, I find the hallway, the light switch, everything I need. That's the problem about running around in the dark room. If we decide to move around, chances are we'll run into something, or we'll be so scared to move out of fear of running into something that we will just stay still. This is what happens when we're surrounded by darkness. We become prisoners to that very darkness. Satan knows that if a soul sees the light of the gospel, there is a good chance that the soul will investigate. The soul will find the gospel, find Christ, and find God. It will be like a moth to the flame, or it'd be like being in that dark room and you just see that crack of light at the bottom of a door. You're going to head towards it. So Satan will do all he can to keep the spiritual blinders on an individual. The person cannot pursue the image of Christ that cannot be seen. So let's smash the illusion on this. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge. It is ironic that in this time of the technological revolution, where any information in the world can be found with the click of a button, ignorance can be such a major problem. Ignorance is even found in the church. This generation of the church is highly biblically ignorant. We say we want to carry God's message out to the world, but unfortunately, too many of God's people do not even know what God's word says. Biblical ignorance is what Satan uses to blind people. Spiritual blindness is a choice because ignorance is a choice. Along with ignorance, spiritual blindness is also made up of pride, anxiety, and idolatry. Truth be told, the blinders are made up of anything which takes our eyes off the Father and directs them back down to earth. We refuse to see, so we miss out on the glory of our Creator. The answer to this is light. It does not take much light to chase away darkness. Keep spreading light, and blinders will come off the people who are able to catch a glimpse. Grace and peace to you all. We'll see you all next time. God bless.